Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome to another Minecraft tutorials video. Today, I want to show you something that involves shulkers. And in front of us we've got an item sorter, but it looks a little different, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm pretty sure you guys know what it's like to go in and out of chests, fill up your inventory, carry loads of stuff, and that's why shulkers are so good, right? Because you can just put everything in a shulker box, put the shulker box in your inventory, and it immediately expands your carry capacity. However, it's still a pain to unload and load all these shulkers and stuff, right? Well, this is where this tutorial comes in handy. I've found a way that might be kind of convenient to use shulkers in an item sorter to quickly deposit and withdraw items and just completely fill up the shulker with stuff you need, or dump it off and just go on about your business. So pretty easy, at least in theory, right? And I've created a system here where, using hoppers, you can just place a shulker right here. It'll start to take out all the items from the shulker. When you're done, you just push this button here. It withdraws or removes the shulker from the equation. Then all those items that were sucked out of the shulker will be taken through the system, sorted, and what's not sorted goes into an overflow area. For the items and overflow area, there's more hoppers right underneath the chest with a space to place a shulker. Right under that is a system which also pushes out each shulker, which is really easy. Now there is a double pulse to that. I can't get rid of that, but that's okay. So all you got to do is place an empty shulker here, and it starts to fill up that shulker with whatever item you have. When you think you have enough in there, you can just remove it quickly and move it to another spot. So pretty easy, right? So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Here we have a white shulker, and this has several stacks of things that are in our item sorter. So what's going to happen here is I will place that right here. We should start to see this click because it is taking those items out. It's putting it through our item sorter, and we can actually look here and we can see that it is removing stuff. So let's go to iron. We should see the iron stuff move in first. It is going to put stuff into the very bottom, so that'll be the hopper. And once that hopper's filled up, it'll start to fill up the chest as well. And that's what that's going to do until the shulker is completely empty. Now there is a little issue with this right here. When I first built this, it was working pretty good. It seemed to remove the shulker rather quickly and enough of a distance that you would be able to collect it back. But it seems like this does have the potential danger of actually being sucked into the item sorter itself. That's not a problem at all as long as you have the overflow area, because all the shulkers, since they're not being sorted, will end up over there. So just be aware of that situation. And I'll just show you what that looks like. We remove it. I like to stand close to make sure I can pick it up. Sometimes it doesn't happen. And sometimes I also like to push forward so that I walk into the area to make sure that I do collect it. So this should look something like this. And as you can see, that time it did fall into the hopper. Not a big deal though. We go down to the, well, actually I don't know. It's going to be quite a while. It's still sorting items, but eventually it will end up, oh, right here, see? Very easy. Now it's still sorting some items, it looks like. I'm not sure where that's at. You can see the item elevator back here. It is flickering these lights out here to indicate that it is still functioning. We can probably go down into here, and yeah, here's some of the items that are being filtered still. Now I've got a gray shulker, and this one's empty. So the way you would fill this up is basically place it under any of these. So we can go into, let's say, iron. And I can't see what's happening there because you can't open it upwards. So we're just going to remove that. But if we look at this one, it's got 11 iron in it. So, oh, I'm duplicating shulkers now. I'm going to remove, there you go. So what I can do to avoid that is place the shulker against the piston so that it'll open outwards instead of upwards. So I can just place it on the piston here for gold. You can look at it, it will not hurt the button, and you can see it's starting to fill up with gold bits. Now I can remove it, there we go, collect it, and move on to the next one. Let's get some Heart of the Sea here. All right, that's enough for that one. Remove that. But mostly what you guys will probably get the most use out of something like this is for your main building blocks. So like dirt, we're just gonna fill up this chest with dirt, maybe some, you know, stone or grass or wood. This is where this comes really useful. Say you got a big project, you gotta load some shulkers up with a lot of blocks. This is the best way to do it. You just leave it sitting there and it'll stop once it's full, and then you just take it away, put it under, I don't know, another block there, and you can just watch it fill up. Oh, this one doesn't have any? I guess it hasn't gotten there yet. Let's see, cobble? No, I guess I didn't fill these up yet. Either way, you can just leave these, you know, just filling up with dirt if you want. Super awesome system. If you want to remove, say you got a lot of stuff that's in the overflow area, and you want to remove a lot of this stuff and put it somewhere else. For example, we've got a lot of pumpkins in here. You can do the same thing with this one. Just put the shulker under the overflow area. Put several down at once if you want. Same thing with under here. And these will start to fill up with all the overflow, all the junk, and then you can transfer all that stuff anywhere else you like. So pretty awesome system. It works great. Just be a little leery of the deposit area. Sometimes it does shoot out the shulker nice and clean. Other times it has a little trouble and it falls into the system. But again, you know, you should easily be able to find that in the overflow area. It should not lose any of your items at all. Now I put a little cutaway here so you can kind of see what that looks like for the spots underneath the chest. It's basically a piston that pushes the shulker out. So you'd be pushing just like that. You're putting the shulkers right there. It shoots it out. There's a redstone lamp that lights up from the button. So if we, there we go. Looks like that, and then the observer will detect that action happening, shoot a signal through a repeater that is on 4 ticks, and it'll turn off this redstone lamp, turning this one on, activating the piston that will remove the shulker box. And it's just that simple. And I will build that right out here. So it's pretty simple. All you got to do is place down 3 blocks here. We're going to place down a redstone lamp out in the front, with another block up on top. This is where your button is going to go, right there. Now you're going to have another block out here for the shulker to kind of lay across, and so you don't see anything of the underworkings underneath. You're going to have an observer looking into the redstone lamp right there with a repeater going out the back of that. This will be on 4 ticks. We're going to place a block on the other side of that repeater with a redstone torch on the other end. Then you're going to place down a block right on top of that torch with another redstone torch coming off the other side. So you can see it kind of zigzags up. That's what you kind of want. You're then going to place another block on top of that redstone torch with a piston, a regular piston, right there, going back towards the button. So pretty simple. This should now work. And you just get the double pulse from the double pulse that happens from the observer. There's really no way to shorten this up to remove that without making this wider or it's more complicated. This is as easy as it gets. So, you know, you would place your shulker here. The item sorter operation of that would go up on top, and this was just simple. This is just a simple removal portion of the shulkers. And for the deposit area, it's rather simple. All you gotta have is an extra hopper that is near your depositing area that basically goes into a hopper line into your main item elevator right here. Now there are alternate options that you could have for the shulker box area. There's no wrong way of doing it. You can have, you know, the double chest here with your shulker here. This one has the same system. It uses a block to push it out. It still does get sucked into the system sometimes, or you can do a manual process where you have all your boxes, your chests up here, and then you have just a regular hopper down at the bottom, no function at all to this. Then you have, you know, the automatic or the mechanical version, which is the shulker underneath the hopper like we showed earlier, and, you know, again, just a regular shulker there with the button that removes it. Then you have a double wide here, same thing as the first one, it's just manual process. You remove and place down, that's it. Now this one is double chest, but it's lengthwise or depthwise, and same thing, it has a shulker down at the bottom with a hopper right down below. Nothing fancy about that. We can do that one like that. Then this is another automatic process with a double wide, and it just has the item frame on the left of it or the right, depending on which side you put it on. Very easy and clean. Just a note, by the way, don't put item frames on this spot here because it will remove it when you open the chest. It kind of knocks out like that. So just something to be aware of. And that's pretty much it. Then you have, you know, your normal storage or overflow area here, which is just a hopper that will take all of the items from the chest down here at the bottom and filter it out into one shulker box. So very, very cool. There's no wrong way of doing it. I want you guys to get creative and see how you guys like this. Let me know down in the comments field below. Drop me a like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I will see you all in the next episodes of Minecraft tutorials. By the way, guys, I've got some pretty cool stuff coming up next. Hope you guys check it out. See ya!